The end is near, and so they face their final curtain. My 49ers, I'll say it clear. I'll state your case, of which I'm certain. The failure to finish the story. I lived a season of which it was full of disappointment, full of failure, and you did it your way. Oh boy. Just one more game. Just one more game of a season full of failure. Full of failure to finish the story. Full of failure of disappointment. And some of which they couldn't control. Some of which they could control. But this last game, we're certainly going to reflect on what could have been. What could have been a season where they could have followed up on what should have been a season where they finally finished their story on what next month should have been their 1-year anniversary of finally finishing the story. Finally getting number 6. But instead, they dropped the ball. They let it slip away once again. And we had what's going to be 1 year ago of an offseason full of drama, an offseason full of ego, an offseason full of distractions. And here we are, almost 1 year later. And yeah, it's a game where we're going to be sent home to Cancun after this game. So we end the 2024 regular season for the San Francisco 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals, who are also going to be going to Cancun. A season for Arizona where there wasn't really a whole lot of expectations. Sure, there was supposedly some kind of improvement for Jonathan Gannon and his Arizona Cardinals. And supposedly there was actually, and they were also very, very close. They were also getting close to getting the NFC West, but unfortunately they ended up going on a losing skid after their bye week. And unfortunately for them, they only won one game after their bye, that being against the New England Patriots, the rebuilding New England Patriots. And well, they recently got eliminated 2 weeks ago against the Carolina Panthers. And yeah, they no longer were eligible to win said NFC West. So now heading into this week, they're looking to, just like the 49ers, finish their season, basically trying to play for pride, end their season on a somewhat high note. But knowing either one of these teams, they're just looking to improve their draft position. So Niners sitting at 6-10, Arizona finished sitting at 7-9. So supposedly also, the Niners have already locked up the dead last position in the NFC West. So that's part of the job. Hashtag losing them all done already. So at least part of the job done for San Francisco. So we at least got the somewhat easy part done for next year, but yeah, easier said than done with the schedule for next year. So we got the 4th place schedule. Now we just got to finish the other part of hashtag lose them all. And that is securing the draft pick for next year. A top 12 draft pick to hopefully wake up Kyle Shanahan and get that offensive lineman Brock Purdy needs. Either a center or right tackle to fucking replace Colton McKivitz. So that should be at least somewhat manageable, especially considering what is going to be happening in this Week 18 game against Arizona. So before we get into that, though, let's talk about the week that was for both of these teams. So for my San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they were already eliminated from playoff contention well before their game against the Miami Dolphins last week. They lost that one soundingly, and I talked about it in my preview of that game against the Detroit Lions. It was going to be a Monday Night Massacre. I mean, I was watching Monday Night Raw at the same time as that game against Detroit because, well, the Niners had nothing to play for anymore. Their season was basically done. So, might as well. I haven't watched Raw in like months since the season started because, Raw sucked. They've already tortured the Liv Morgan Dominic Mysterio storyline, and there's basically nothing. There's basically nothing. So I turn on Monday Night Football, and they already eliminated Niners are playing for pride in the first half against a Lions team that was just having a tune-up game for next week's more important game against the Minnesota Vikings. And credit to them because they don't want to feel defeated. And credit to Brock Purdy because he played one of his best games of the year, at least in the first half though. And Ricky Pearsall, credit to him also because he played his best game since being active in Week 7. He got the lion's share, no pun intended, since being active in I believe Week 7 or 8. But either way, but they got the memo of hashtag lose them all. They fully got the assignment done in the second half. They gave the ball away to the Lions twice in the second half. And Jared Goff in the habanero hot Lions offense scored on both of those turnovers to pull away from the game 40-34 and drop the Niners to 6-10. So again, they understood the assignment, pal. But unfortunately, more importantly, to take away from that game, we're being serious for a second, was Purdy getting hurt with less than 2 minutes to go. And it just makes me think, why did you need to play Purdy in the first place? Like you don't want to risk hurting your hopefully franchise quarterback. And it's one that you're especially going to have to you're trying to pay this offseason, despite questions about his health, his viability, his playability. In the past season since he came onto the scene in 2022. So yeah, why is he even out there in what's basically a meaningless game against Detroit? Especially with less than 2 minutes to go on a sack by Brian Branch. So fortunately for Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, it's not a long-term injury. They're calling it a nerve contusion. So basically like numbingness to that throwing elbow. I'm no doctor, but that's what the team is telling all the filthy casuals out there like me. So I'm just reporting what's out there. So fortunately for the Niners, it's nothing hopefully serious and nothing long-term. So for the Cardinals, they were also eliminated, but they gave the LA Rams a little bit of a fight in a very low-scoring affair in LA, albeit a very ugly one because both teams tried to give away the game, but it was Arizona that basically gave the game to the Rams because Kyler Murray, he threw 2 key interceptions in the fourth quarter, especially at the end to Killer Witherspoon that allowed the Rams to escape with the win, and eventually the NFC West 13-9 that one. So, and like I said with Arizona, they're looking to finish this disappointing, albeit kind of rebuildish 7-9 season with the win after they had a surprising kind of promising path to the NFC West title before their bye week. Before they've only won 1 game since after the bye week. So just some news and injury notes going into this game. By this point with the last game of the year and both teams don't have anything to play for. This is basically an exhibition game. Brock Purdy not expected to play in this one, and why would he anyway, whether it's with or without an injury? And again, hopefully and he'll be able to recover in time for the training in May, like the offseason activities that start in May. So Kyle has named Josh Dobbs the starter, but if I were Kyle, if you want to fully hashtag lose them all one last time, he should have started Brandon Allen. I mean, I didn't like Brandon Allen when he played in the Packers game, but for this purpose, why not? Why didn't you start him? Players like Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa, Diamador Lenore, among a bunch of other key players. At this time, they haven't practiced yet, which probably means Kyle's not playing them. Yeah. And probably for good reason, too. Jarvis Ward, he may play this game. I mean, he will be back for the finale, but we don't know yet if Kyle Shanahan will play him. He was out for the last game due to a positive personal matter this time. Congratulations to him and his wife for the birth of their new son. So congratulations to them. For the Arizona Cardinals, they're kind of relatively healthy too. But other than James Conner being put on injured reserve for re-injuring his knee, so they signed Michael Carter, formerly of the Jets, and then they had other key players like Mac Wilson and Sean Murphy-Bunting, who are basically 50-50 to play. So basically, there's not really anything when it comes to keys to victory because both teams are just basically ready to go to Cancun at this point. But if you want to look at this like a preseason game to end the season, some players that I'm looking to watch in this one for both teams, I'm looking at Ricky Pearsall, Isaac Guerrero, and Ronaldo Green. So the three rookies that have basically intrigued me all season long. Like Pearsall, he really had his best game last Monday. I've been talking about him for about the whole month now, especially in the absence of Brandon Ayuk. Guerrero, who has stepped up in the absence of Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason. And then Ronaldo Green, who has been having a quiet yet productive second half of the year, especially in the absence of Charvarius Ward. For the Cardinals, Trey McBride, the tight end, who is probably looking to redeem himself after causing the game-losing interception last week. The ball bounced off his helmet. He wasn't ready for the catch. But half of that was also on Kyler Murray. Meanwhile, for Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie receiver, who was also drafted in the first round this year, he's been kind of having a disappointing season. Although some of it is his fault too, but not exactly his fault mostly either. I feel like they haven't been targeting him too much with the offensive game plan. And then the edge rusher, Darius Robinson, who was also undrafted in the first round, if he plays in this game, he hasn't been able to stay healthy though. So if he does play in this game, he can really use a lot of playing time to prove his value as a late first round pick. So yeah, looking at this game, it's basically an exhibition in the desert. So both of these teams looking to end the season on their high note. I mean, the Niners already got half of the job of hashtag losing them all. They just need to do it one last time to solidify their top 12 draft pick. And hopefully Kyle Shanahan can get that offensive lineman. Someone's got to wake his ass up and get a tackle, a right tackle, and a set or center, either one of them, in the draft. Just one more time, Kyle. You got to do what's right. You got to do what's right, man. And hashtag lose them all one last time in the desert. And do it my way one last time. So, yeah. Let me know what's some things you're looking forward to. The lack thereof. Let me know what you're looking at, like some players to watch in this game between the Niners and the Cardinals, or maybe something that should happen after both of these teams head off the field and into their offseason in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. Yeah, it's pretty much a stakeless game for both of these teams. So, yeah, we got to watch it one last time, whether you're a Niners fan or a Cardinals fan, as yeah, they got to go out to the field one last time before they head off to Cancun for 4 months. And then the train picks back up in May. But until we recap this game, until we talk about my Niners 2 more times, because we have the season recap, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. Until I see you, when I see you in the next one, peace out.